What's up guys, this is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about creating an epic life on your terms. Today we're talking about INFJs not just feeling misunderstood, but actually being misunderstood. People not knowing what you're talking about, not understanding your vision, and pretty much cutting you off right away when you know you could be right. See, I've been talking to so many INFJs throughout the last 6 years, hundreds, probably over 1,000, and every single time this has become a topic. Maybe some of you have learned that by now it doesn't matter that most people don't understand you and that there are other ways to go about it, but still it's something we all have struggled with. So today I want to go deeper on this topic. I want to show you how I was able to overcome this, how I'm helping my clients do it, and I'm sure you can too. I can guarantee you this, it definitely is possible that you live in a world, create an epic life for yourself where your thoughts are being understood, where you and your vision make sense. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you want my help in creating that epic life, then sign up for the bootcamp or work with me privately. All the information you find below. One of the main reasons why INFJs feel so misunderstood is because we are a rare personality type. That's just the facts. We don't meet INFJs in real life most of the time. We don't see other people representing what we have been thinking. And thankfully now we have the internet, now we have YouTube and all of those other platforms where we see other INFJs really talking about the things that go on in our mind. I hear it so often that INFJs tell me, I'm so thankful, now I know I'm not the only one. So when I started my journey, it really got to a point where I felt completely misunderstood. I kept so many parts hidden of myself, and it wasn't only because there was a lack of self-love on my part, it was because I knew that the more I pushed my truth, the less people understood me, the less they accepted me, the less they wanted me to open up because they felt like, okay, what is she talking about? This doesn't make sense, I don't care about these things, and the list goes on and on. And this is something we have all experienced. So this is one more reason why we decide to keep quiet. We already know the result. We already know that once we open up, people are not interested, they find it weird, and the list goes on and on. So what do we do? What do we do in that situation? And I can tell you from personal experience, and this is also what I've been telling my clients for the longest time, you have to find an outlet for it. Most of the time, we have a small group of people around us, people that we trust and we feel we can open up to. And we don't even recognize how much we're still hiding in order to bring out a facade of ourselves that others could in any kind of way understand. We try to push ourselves and make ourselves fit the mold in order to connect with people. And that is also one of the reasons why we do have that little friends in our life. It's not just that we don't need that much social interaction. I don't. It's not like I have more than 3 or 4 close friends and with them most of the time we just write text messages. I don't need that human interaction to that extent because it overwhelms me. But I still talk to all of you guys. I make sure that I talk to my clients. I have my family and my friends. And so the connections that I've made, let's say in the last 5-6 years while I was doing this, have just quadrupled. And it doesn't feel like I'm selling out or I'm saying, oh, you should have that many connections in your life. It doesn't feel like it overwhelms me because it still happens at a distance. Most of my connections I do have online. But when I first started this journey of mine and I understood that I had to change something because I just felt completely depleted. There was no way out for me. I have tried absolutely everything to fit that mold and it still wasn't enough. At that moment I knew I had to start expressing myself and I had to express myself in a way that will push people away. I knew that if this is what it takes, if it takes for people in my life that are currently around me to think that I'm weird or that I have those uncommon thoughts, then that's what it's going to be. Because I couldn't keep on going and pretending that people like me for who I am when in reality they only like the facade I was showing them. And then once I understood that I from now on will always show that part of me because that part that you're hiding, it also has a lot of good qualities other people will see. So maybe people won't understand all that you're saying, maybe they won't understand all your motives or your visions, but they will definitely see your strength. Once they see your strength, once they see your conviction about your thoughts, they will respect you more, they will give you more distance, they will leave you alone. And I created this distance proactively because this distance allowed me to understand what I actually need, what I will give to myself. And one of the things I started giving to myself, and this is the first thing I will tell absolutely everybody, go and find people who do understand you. Go and do it on online. Join forums, join groups. For example, with the Epic Life Bootcamp, we also have a Facebook group that goes with it. You need to be surrounded by people who have similar interests like you, who believe in the same things you do, who think similarly than you, and it doesn't have to be INFJs altogether. And also, don't feel like if you see INFJs and you don't connect with them that there's something wrong with you, because this is how I felt. When I first started doing this, I really didn't like the community because the community was full of self-neglect. It was full of, oh, poor me, and nobody likes me and nobody understands me, and it was just feeding into the narrative of us being victims, and I didn't want that at all. And nowadays, even my channel, it's a niche channel. It's not what the average INFJ is looking for. So don't get discouraged just because most people won't understand what you're talking about. You go out and find those groups. You go out and create those conversations. But you have to be the one who goes out. And you have to understand that there's a reason why you share those things. Because if you start from a perspective of I want to be understood, then it really stays at this level. You're not looking beyond yourself. And that's how we put ourselves in the victim mentality. We have to get to a point where we say, okay, I'm gonna go out in places where people can understand me, but the way I express myself is always aimed to empower myself and others. It's not there for other people to see that I'm suffering and poor me because they also suffer in the same sense. Yes, it's good to know that other people feel like us, but we should always approach it in a way, how can I make this bigger? How can I make it better? How can I create something and add to something that helps us all grow in a positive direction? That's where misunderstanding really goes away. You don't have as a main focus to be understood anymore. Because up until this point, you might have thought there's something wrong with me. And if I find somebody who understands me, then I will feel like I'm normal. Don't neglect this point. Ask yourself, why do you want to be understood? On the one hand, of course, it's a human thing. We all want to find connection and feel like we connect with each other on an intimate level. That's completely normal. But still, if you ask yourself, most of the time when we're so fixed on the fact that people don't understand us, and I know that I was the exact same way, and I hear it over and over again, is because we subconsciously feel that there's something wrong with us. We don't accept ourselves, and we feel like if there's this one person who understands us, then it will give us validation that there's nothing wrong with us, that we too are valuable, that our ideas are also important. But you know who that person is? That person is you. You have to be the one who says, my ideas are valid. My ideas are just as important as everybody else's. My thought processes are just as valid. And as long as you go out and you create connections in order to get that validation, you will always fail. I failed, and I see it over and over again with all the INFJs I coach, because as long as we don't feel we're valid and our opinions don't matter, we automatically and subconsciously reach out to people who mirror the exact same thing back to us. But the moment you decide, no matter if I'm the only person in the world with this thought process, this is just as valid as everybody else's. And if people understand me or not, that might be cool and great, but it's not something that's gonna keep me back from not only expressing myself, but adding to a positive movement. That is where we have to get to. So I understood it doesn't matter if I'm all alone. It doesn't matter if there's nobody's going to understand me, because when I was in that big black hole mentally, there was no way I thought anybody could understand me. There was no way I thought this is normal. You don't tell yourself these positive things of we are all connected and every opinion matters and we all have different experiences. This is not the internal world we live in. We live in that depressive state. We live in a state where we feel isolated. But this comes from us not expressing ourselves, not sharing our truth. And once you've understood this, then you stop trying to explain yourself to the people around you. You want them to know what you are and who you are, and you're not hiding those parts anymore. This is going to be the different thing. You're not going out towards your best friends and you want them to understand all your thought processes, but you also are going to make them see that this is what you believe in, this is what you think about, and then you go out and talk to people who share similar beliefs, who all fight towards something better. And if you don't see that group, then you create it. It doesn't have to be like this monstrous thing. It can be a small community within a group. It can be that you start talking with people in the comments over here, but share your thoughts and you will see you're not alone. And it doesn't have to be INFJs altogether. It's all about just finding people that you have things in common with. And I encourage you deeply to start that process online, because there you'll find like-minded people. There is the place where you can say, okay, I'm gonna reach out to everybody who cares about this movement in the environmental area, and those are the people who believe in the same things I believe in, and I'm gonna get active in that. You have to be the one who starts contributing. You have to be the one who says, I want to think outside of myself. I want to help people to get to the place where I'm at. And it doesn't have to be on a big scale. It can start with small things, like you're in a group and everybody's working there towards encouraging each other, and you two share your success stories and you encourage others to believe in themselves. Because once you start this process, you naturally become aware of what you really want and who you really are. We have to be aware of this fact. Whatever we focus on gets bigger. Whatever we track gets improved. So if you're not paying attention to what makes you feel good, who you can connect to, and how you can contribute, you're not going to become aware of what is most important to you. But once you start doing those things, you understand, oh, that actually made me feel so good. That other thing over here didn't. And only because I did that, only because I expressed my worldview, it allowed me to see that. Because before that, your own opinions don't matter. You're not aware of them. How could you be? All your life, you've been focused on how to show up with a facade, how to make the people in your life somehow accept you and tolerate you. And you keep asking yourself how you can show up even better, just so they like you. When the solution is always the other way around. You share your truth and you go look for people who believe in that as well. If you feel I'm too weird, I'm too different, there's no way anybody could understand me, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna get the exact same feedback from the outside. You're keeping yourself back. You have to be the one who decides, my opinion matters. Yes, maybe my idea is a little bit out there, but because it's out there, it has the opportunity to change things. But I'm not gonna go out and share it once and see that nobody understands me in that moment and then I give up. Because I don't do it in order to be understood. I do it because I know that my opinion matters. I know that my thoughts are just as valuable as everybody else's, and it doesn't matter if there are millions of people having that same thought. My thought for me is the most important one, as is that thought for that person is the most important thought for them. You're the center of your life, you're the center of your universe, and it all starts with you. You're the leading character of your movie, and I can guarantee you, you can change that narrative in your mind. You can't change it. You have to start sharing your thoughts, not asking to be understood, but to go to places where your ideas could be of benefit. See, the things I wanted to share were empowerment, and they were from a perspective of you can do it if I can do it. And they were aimed at people who are similar to me. So in a lot of ways, I was looking through empaths, I was looking through highly sensitive people. I was reading so much at that time. And once I found this INFJ community, I knew this is my place at that moment. This is where I want to share my wisdom, my thoughts, because here there are people who might benefit from the things that I have benefited before. Those truths that I have found, they have worked for me. So if they have worked for one person and that person is me, then chances are there are other people who will benefit from that as well. But you have to be the one who makes that happen. So don't get me wrong. The last thing I'm telling you here is to say to yourself, well, nobody's gonna understand me, and so I just quit. Like, why even try? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying use your voice to benefit others. Use the things that you know are true in order to help others. Like, make your world bigger by incorporating people into your world. And that way you don't make compromises. You share that what is important to you, and you stop helping people who don't want your help. You stop helping people who don't understand where this is going. But you can definitely reach those people if you don't stop expressing yourself, because every single time you express yourself, you get feedback from your environment and you understand, am I here on the right path? Do I need to go a little bit to the left? And then those self-doubts come up and you deal with them, and then you move forward, and the list goes on and on. You're in control of where you direct your life to. You make sure that you don't go out in order to get validation for your thoughts. You already give that validation to yourself. You already tell yourself, and this is something you can do daily. You can write journals, you can write gratitude lists. You can keep telling yourself and empower yourself to believe believe in your own ideas, because as long as they're only in your mind, there's no way anybody could ever say if they're right, if they're wrong, if they're way too much out there. These things don't matter. The only thing that matters is what are you going to do with them? Because if you have your thoughts or not, it doesn't really matter in a world outside of you. Because as long as they're only in your mind, there is nobody else who can benefit from them. And sometimes it's just one person who needs to hear your truth. And you don't say it in a way where you need validation. You're saying it out of giving. That is coming back to the fact that we give to ourselves first. We have a cup of energy and that is overflowing. We share what we already know is truth for us. We already know that this is the right path for us because it makes us feel good to feel these things, to think these things, to have those understandings. And if you feel better about your choices and where you are in your life today than let's say 5 years ago, then it's because you have learned something in those 5 years. And these things are valuable. These things are something that you could share because other people won't need 5 years to get where you're at. They could make those shifts right away. And it doesn't matter how you share them. It doesn't matter if it's on a big scale like this or if you share it to one person. But you have to be the one who goes out, who takes ownership of where you are, and you start pulling other people up. Don't go out asking for validation. We only do that in order to fix something which we should give ourselves. Because then, once you've understood this and you start expressing and sharing and connecting with people in order to give, you create abundance for yourself and others because the intention is to share your knowledge. Again, think about this idea you have, and you might think nobody has understood this. Why hasn't this changed the world? And it's because you haven't given yourself the trust yet that it's good enough. If you go out and you share your message and then nobody listens to it and you start doubting and you say, how can they not understand it? Then we have not understood yet. And this is something we just have to admit to ourselves. It's not something to be ashamed of or something that we should feel internally. This is just something I rationally know. So I know when I share something and the people don't understand me, then the reason why they don't is not because there's something flawed with my idea or because my idea is so much out there. It's because I haven't reached enough people yet. I haven't found the right people who will benefit from this, and I haven't made the steps in order to make it happen. People join your train when your train is already going. Don't wait for other people to start pushing your train. You have to be the one who makes it happen. And once you've understood that, you change your entire narrative about the story. You don't feel misunderstood anymore. I don't feel misunderstood anymore because I have found an outlet for what I have to say. And it's not that it started just as it is now, so you could say, okay, it's easy for you to say. You have thousands of INFJs watching your videos, and then you have clients, and you have all of these connections. This is what it looks like now, 6 years after I started. 6 years after I showed up when people didn't want to watch it, where people were interested in other things, because I didn't share out of asking for validation. I shared because I knew that my knowledge, what I have learned, has potential to help others as well, because it has helped me. And you might have that idea that might help humanity or the world or environment, or you might have this artistic gene in you that you want to share and you want to make people happy through that. Then do that. If you go out and you start expressing yourself and you start sharing your message with that intention, everything changes. And when it comes to my private life, all my relationship dynamics have changed. I expect less from my friends. Before, they had to be everything to me. I neglected myself in order to create this deep connections with the people closest to me by understanding them so deeply, because I needed that, because I had no other way of connecting with people. But once I got out there and I said, I need to do this in order to add something to society, in order to make the world better. And it can start with your family, but it can also be in your community. It can be online. It does not matter. But go out, and I encourage you specifically to look online, because there you have the chance of meeting people who are like-minded. So much easier than if you only look at the people around you. And since I've done this and I've gotten so much of my needs met through that channel, and I don't mean channel as in my YouTube channel, I just mean through that channel of communication, it has given me so much. So many of my needs get fulfilled that now when I look at the friends in my environment, I'm able to give 50-50. I'm able to have relationships with people where I don't focus only on them in order to create a deep bond between us. I make sure that I focused first off my intention on how I can express myself, how I want to add to the world, how my worldview can become bigger so I can share it with people. That's how you feel connected. And through that, I make all the other connections. This is the shift that's gonna change your life. Because nowadays, I wouldn't even say that my life has changed so completely if you look at it from the outside. Yes, I live in a nicer place, I make better money, I don't work at the same place I did before, but it doesn't feel like it. I just feel like something is missing. And that thing that feels like it's missing, it's me being misunderstood. It's me feeling alone. It's me feeling isolated. It's me feeling like I'm wasting my life. This has vanished completely, and it all started with me taking a different approach to being misunderstood. You have the chance to change your life by stop asking yourself why nobody understands you, but to take ownership of it and to say, what can I do to make this idea bigger? I started sharing this when nobody understood me, when this community wasn't what it is now. I did it because I wanted to help. So if you have an idea, if you have an understanding, where can you apply this to where it could benefit somebody? And still remember, 99% of all people will not understand it. And that's not because you're an INFJ. That's because we're all different. Like even other INFJs won't understand all you have to say because your ideas, they have developed through all that time they have been in your mind, through all your experiences. The things that people understand are the things that exist in reality. So start making your thoughts a reality. Now you're so much more able to see my message, not through that video in comparison to the video 6 years ago, but because the whole movement has created an image, that whole movement has created an emotional atmosphere. And the bigger it gets, the easier it is for people to understand it. And this is where we need to get to. We can decide who we want to share our message with, where do we want to add to the world, but we have to be the ones who take control of it instead of blaming ourselves or shaming ourselves or putting ourselves into the victim mentality. You go out and you share. And you know what? The more unique your ideas are, the bigger of a chance they have to change the current state. Don't look at the fact that people only care about likes and they only care about entertainment. That's not true. Yes, there are a lot of people who do that, but in my world they don't, because the things I focus on, I don't see that. In the world that I live in, the things that really matter are the things that bring value to others, and they create abundance for more and more people. This really is my reality. It's not the story I'm telling myself. This is actually what I see. And I see that because I have decided what to focus on. You have the power to do that. It won't happen overnight, but the first day you take a step into that direction, you will already know how much better it feels. And the more you focus on it, the clearer it becomes that this is your new reality. You have the chance to use your strength, your insight, and all those unique qualities you have in order to add to the world. Your voice matters. So don't look at the people who don't understand it, because it's always going to be that 99% of the people don't, and it's always that 1% that does. It's our task to believe so much in ourselves that we say, no matter what, I keep on going because I want to share those 1% people. I want to make the people more and more so I can connect to more people, so I can add to the world, so I can create authentic and intimate connections with people through being myself. This is where we want to go to. This is how we want to show up in the world and how we want to inspire others by being, not just by saying things, but by actually living them. I really hope that helped you and inspired you, and it gives you the initiative to go out and help other people feel less misunderstood. Go and share your gifts. And if you want my help in creating that epic life on your terms, remember to sign up for the bootcamp or to work with me privately. The information you find below. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, watch the video on the INFJ dark side. Once you integrate that into your life, you'll see how much easier it is to feel less misunderstood. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time. Bye.